Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my airplane.
Did you look at the analysis?
I did, briefly. But yeah. Okay, I'm Matt. My name is Matt Jakus. I live in middle of nowhere, Utah, Parowan. It's a nice little town by a ski area. Nice little airstrip. Love it here. I had owned a certified plane before, and I've always had been a GA. I've been an airline pilot. GA was my core. I looked at the cost of the ownership of certified aircraft, what was available, and then I started realizing that the experimental world has just been exploding in the last decade. Lots of new kits, lots of new types of aircraft, all kinds of options, and so I decided to explore that world and did some numbers crunching like typical pilots do, and decided this is the way to go. I had an old V-tail Bonanza. It was a great airplane, but it was a 58-year-old airplane. And a lot of maintenance, and around here it's kind of hard to find maintenance for those kinds of airplanes, being not like from a big city. So that was a factor as well, is the availability of being able to maintain a certified aircraft. Well, I learned to fly in the late 70s, the old Cessnas and everything else like that, and think about what your kind of cars you were driving in the 70s. 2-barrel carburetor, manual this, manual that. And if you look at even some of the stuff that's new today in the certified world, you're still doing cowl flaps and mixtures and props and throttles and everything. And it's like, I drive a modern car, as most everyone else does. So why can't I have a modern aircraft? Modern avionics, a modern engine system. The Rotax 915 especially being a full FADEC engine, computer controlled, highly fuel efficient, and lots of good power. So between the aircraft itself, which is a good design, it made it already with an engine that fit my parameters, as well as being a 4-place seated aircraft. A couple motivations for choosing to build my own aircraft was I wanted the repairman certificate. I want that ability to maintain my aircraft, obviously being where I live, where maintenance is a little hard to get. That was a huge factor in that. My favorite parts of the build, it's usually when some piece has been completed, but usually it's when a challenging piece has been completed. One of them especially was, say, the elevator and flaps, the control surfaces, where they have to be perfectly aligned with the wings and everything else. So a lot of work and effort went into making sure there's no twist. And so when you have something that's very difficult to put together, it's a great feeling when you get it done and it's done right. When did I become a pilot? Well, I took my first official lesson in the late 70s, but I had a father who was a former Air Force pilot, and he had, of course, former Air Force flight training, so I had been up in an airplane since I was little, but I got demos in gliders and things like that when I was in my early teens, but started flying in my late teens. Then went through the Part 135 different programs through the 80s, finally ended up getting on at TWA, and now I'm currently a pilot for American Airlines. Do I enjoy flying as much as I did 40 whatever years ago, almost 50? Yeah, absolutely. Or I wouldn't still be here. I wouldn't be building an aircraft. And this is an aircraft that I hope to have well into my late 70s or beyond, health permitting. Right now, my plans for the aircraft are mainly work. I commute. It's a terrible commute to being based in Los Angeles. I do a 3-hour drive to Las Vegas, and then I jump seat down to Los Angeles. And the timing, that takes up half a day or more to get 2.5 a day or more to get from work to get home. Well, if I'm in this aircraft, weather permitting, I'm looking at just under 2 hours to get to work and to get home. And what a great time machine. But in addition, this is going to be a family plane. We're going to use it to visit my son in Texas. We're going to use it like most people would use an RV. This is going to be a fun traveling plane as we get into our retirement years, like most people would do with an RV. I just completed the checkout they offer in Torrance for that, and it was between 5 and 6 hours I got there, in addition to the demo flight when I decided to purchase the kit. It's a great airplane. It's a great platform. I opted for GPS only aircraft, so I can fly LPVs. The Garmin package that Midwest panel builders helped me put in is everything I would hope for, and it's comparable to everything I have on my airliner. So except for icing conditions, I can pretty much do anything with it. So it'll be a great traveling airplane. Tips for future builders. Take every EAA workshop you can do, especially the metal courses and the electronic courses, which unfortunately when the pandemic hit I couldn't do, but they have plenty of the videos. There's tons of reference material online that you can get that really help me out. Also, one of the best tips is when you're on something that's complex, you don't necessarily need an aircraft builder, but have someone else kind of look at what you've set up, what you've done, because it's easy to miss something when you've been so focused on something. So get a second pair of eyes out there every now and then to kind of take a look over it and possibly find mistakes you have made while they're still easily correctable. And above all, make sure you have plenty of Clecos. You'd be amazed how many you use.